Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a very basic demonstration of how to use Cassandra. Excuse me, Cassandra. What we won't be showing is how to install because I have very limited Ubuntu experience and it was interesting. It was an interesting process. So we're not going to go watch me struggle through that. Okay. So, first things first, once everything is installed, you want to open up your terminal over here. And then you want to open up the folder that Cassandra is currently located or installed in. And you want hit enter. For this example here, I have obviously named a folder Cassandra. And then what you want to do is you want to run an instance of Cassandra. And then it'll go and it'll load. Now since since I am using a VM on my laptop, it is going to be a little bit slower than if you were to use a VM or even just a natural install of Ubuntu on a desktop. Seeing as I had enough issues with trying to get Cassandra on my laptop, I figured there wasn't going to be any chance of me getting it on my desktop, seeing as I had to have help getting Cassandra installed in the first place. I would just go with what I had. Okay, so sometimes for me, this is where it likes to stop, pause. I'm not really sure which, during the loading of Cassandra. So I generally just give it a couple seconds, and then if that doesn't work, or it doesn't progress any farther, I just continue on. Because people, myself included, are impatient, especially when it comes to technology. Everything's supposed to be right away. So what we want to do, once it's all done loading, or once you're done waiting for it to load, is open up the Cassandra shell, which I have just done. So now that that is open, what we want to do is we want to create a key space uh, so that we can put our information in. From the experience that I've gained playing with Cassandra for this project, my understanding of a key space is that it's very similar to a database in SQL. Replication factor 1. The semicolon at the end of your information is very important, otherwise it will just kick down to the next line with some ellipses, assuming that you want to input more information, which is obviously not what we're doing in this case. So next we're going to use the key space that we just made, and now we're going to create a table called users. So this is where we're going to start listing off our columns. Most people, except for me, generally put in their information like this, I'm assuming, where they just list all of the different columns on the same line. Whatever, and then they go. I find that really difficult to read. So what I do is I just skip to the next line, and as you can see, there are the ellipses with the following information that I was just talking about. Last name text, first name text, age int, email text, and city will also be text. And now we're going to declare our primary key and make it the last name. Ta-da! Table created. So now we're going to input information into users. A lot of the syntax for CQL is very similar to, what am I doing? The syntax for SQL. Age, city, I forgot email. Email, city. Values. The only reason why I have the values column set up like this is just it's easier for me to recall how many things I need to first how many things I need to fill in without, goodness gracious, looking at the line above to see what I need to do. It's a totally pointless practice. I don't really recommend it for anybody else, but be that as it may. Insert into users. Actually, I'm going to not be super lazy. There we go. Or, sorry, I am going to be super lazy. Okay, so we have Jane Doe, and we'll have John Doe, who will be 38. Why not? John Doe demo. And he will also be from Toronto. We'll do one more. Instead of John, we'll have Esther. Don't ask why Esther came to mind first. It just did. Okay, so now that we have all of those people inserted, what we're going to do is show their information. Why are you only showing Esther? Peculiar. Anyway, we're just going to continue on. So, you can also update your users using the primary key only. It's not like with SQL where you can just say, oh, look for X value in X column under the where clause. It's you have to use the primary key. So, update users. Set city equals we'll move her to Waterloo. Why not? Where last name equals Doe. I'm starting to think that the reason that only I guess it was John. Why I was only getting one at one time is because they all had the same last name, which makes sense. It did an automatic update. So that's just my little instance of troubleshooting there. So that is how you create a key space and a table and insert and show and update. And I guess I will now actually delete so that you get an impression of that as well. Name equals Doe. And there you go. Okay, so that has been my demonstration of how to use Cassandra. I hope you've enjoyed.